Hello, Bonita Bay Club members. I'm EJ McDonnell, your Director of Golf, and I'm here once again with Hal Akins, our Director of Golf Course Operations. This is going to be our third Creekside update. We're going to show you the whole golf course. Fortunately for you, we're only going to talk about 6 of the holes as far as on the drone coverage, and we're also going to cover Cypress a little bit. So, Hal, today's Friday, October 3rd, winding everything down. The back 9 of Cypress just opened today, so kind of tell us how your summer's been, and we'll start with the Cypress project, then we'll move into Creekside.
It's been a good summer. How are you today?
Doing great.
It's been a good summer. Cypress, the back 9 is opening in it. I was out there yesterday afternoon. Looks good. I mean, the greens are going to be a little slow, but they're completely filled in. They're going to continue to mature. They look really good. I mean, they looked great yesterday afternoon. Sable looked good as well. I mean, those greens are really pretty good as well. So we're happy with where we're at there. And we're happy where we're at here with Marsh and Bay Island. I've told people that the Bay Island greens are the healthiest that they've been since Ian. Yep. So generally speaking, we feel pretty good about our position right now going into October and the season, you know. So we obviously put in a lot of hard work this summer and got a lot accomplished. So we just, at this point, we got to finish growing in the greens on the front 9 of Cypress, which, gosh, they're 99% covered. They looked excellent yesterday. We should have no problem hitting our 23rd opening date there.
Yeah, so 3 weeks from yesterday, we'll have the full Cypress golf course open.
Correct, yes. And so I don't see that being a problem. And now we're just here to finish off Creekside, which it's coming down to the end really, really quick. So I could go into that now if you want me to.
Yeah, so, you know, we're looking at a mid-December opening at Creekside. I know we kind of talked about in the last video, we're standing right here on the tee box of the 3rd hole on the 4 tee. You know, kind of these south holes, the north gate are the last ones being done.
That's right.
So I know that we just sprigged number 2 here, 18's grassed. We got 17, 1, and 16 left. And so everybody that goes to fitness center, they kind of look out and have some people, no way, but they're going to see that grass here in the next week, and you're double sprigging, things like that, to make sure we're ready by mid-December.
Once you get all the things in place, putting the final touches on doesn't really take long, and that's where we're at. We did sprig number 2 yesterday, and we'll hand sprig it starting today, but we double sprigged it, so that's a higher rate with the machinery, and then again, we'll hand sprig it. And to give people kind of an understanding, we sprigged number 15 on the 13th, and it's virtually almost grown in. I mean, it's not like ready to play, but there's good grass coverage everywhere on that hole if you have seen it, you know. Yeah,
so when we're saying the holes are still being sprigged, all the greens have been sprigged though.
Correct.
All the greens, including the putting green, are done. Got those done well in advance because you can come back and hit those fairways, and if you can hear the Rayco vac behind us, we're actually harvesting our own sprigs.
Correct.
Which we've talked about to double and triple sprig the fairway so they grow in faster. But I think it was a good idea to get all the greens grass down and moving as fast as we could.
Yeah, that was our strategy. You know, obviously the greens are the most critical playing surfaces. We kind of backed up on doing fairways and tees because we wanted to get the greens sprigged so that they were in as good a playable condition when we opened as possible. So these last 6 holes here on the south side of North Bay Drive, all those greens were sprigged this past Saturday, and we sprigged them at a very, very high rate, and they're doing spectacular. Just to give a little bit of contrast, the first greens that we sprigged on the north end, they were sprigged about 8 weeks ago. They're playable today. Mm-hmm. So I don't expect anything less than that. And if we open mid-December, that's going to give us somewhere between 11 and 12 weeks for these last greens that we just sprigged to mature and become good putting surfaces.
We're all looking forward to that. We're looking forward to 5 golf courses. I know you are as well.
Yeah,
as we were kind of talking about this video, we were talking about future updates, and the next video, fortunately for you, you won't have to listen to us talk. I'll just come out and drone all 18 holes and give you an update that way. And then right there around the first part of December, we'll kind of come back and give a wrap up of the whole project, and once again drone all 18 for the membership.
I'll just want to kind of explain what going to happen to finish this off. So, like I said, we did 2 yesterday and today, and 1 will be sprigged tomorrow. And then right now we are putting the final touches on the irrigation installation on number 16. It's already been rough graded. So all we have to do is go in and kind of final grade it and get it smooth so that we can grass it. So that will probably happen on Wednesday. That's my goal. If it's not Wednesday, it'll be Thursday. And then 17 will be the last one that we have to grass. And that one will hopefully happen by Saturday. That's our goal. So if we get that done like we anticipate, that's going to give us about 8 or 9 weeks to grow those in and have them ready for play, which should not be a problem. So we feel pretty good about where we're at right now. We did a lot of work out here. I don't think folks really realize how much work happened on this golf course compared to Marsh and Bay Island. It was actually, we moved a lot more dirt. And when people come out, they will see it is drastically different as far as like movement, mounding and undulations. And so it is a much more attractive golf course because of that work that we did. And I think this is a great example.
Yeah.
I mean, we created a lot more mounding. We cut this lake back and tied it into the green or into the tees. And it makes this feel like we're elevated. So
yeah, just looking at these tee boxes right here, they feel like they're more elevated. The slopes going into the water are a lot better. Those bunker faces behind the green are a lot more visible. It's just It's a lot more pleasant to the eye.
We put a lot of dirt in behind the green to give it that backdrop and the drama that you want, So this is not the only hole. I mean, just about every hole we did something to really enhance,
Yeah, so it's enhancing the golf hole that was already there. It's not monster changes.
Right.
I took a couple members out last week, and they're very happy with how they recognized everything as the Creekside golf course that they all love.
Well, the greens are, somewhat the same. We tried to keep the same contours. It's not always possible because they get larger when you rebuild them. And so you're rebuilding something that wasn't there. So there were no contours. And then there are other things that, that we have to deal with that were there before that we had to overcome when we rebuilt the greens. And so they couldn't be exactly the same, but we tried to keep them as close to the original contours as possible. And you know the story behind all that and how that works.
Well, should we go ahead and take it? We're gonna drone over 1 through 3, 16, 17, 18. We're gonna end up going over and doing the ending to our talking part of the video over on hole number 1. And then at the very end, we'll go ahead and just show you holes 4 through.
Well, the practice facility, I want to make sure people understand the timing on that. Obviously, the golf course is the most important. So we'll be all into the practice facility next week, like final shaping, irrigation, and then getting it ready to grass the following week. And we did not strip the first half of the large tee on the west end of the range. So we have that tee in place so that when we have enough growth in the body of it, the body of the range, we can open that practice facility up and use the tee that we did not regrass. So the driving range and the practice area, a lot of people probably wonder how much thought goes into it. It's a lot. It's a lot of thought. We spent a lot of time on the putting green trying to create some very even surfaces, very flat, like get a 1 degree slope just because you got to move the water. And then also have other areas with the undulation so you can practice what you see on the golf course. So I think the putting green is really good. I had a couple of the teaching pros come over and say, hey, this is really cool. This is great. We kind of need this. And then right now, as you talk about, moving the earth on the body of the driving range, is making the targets on the range attractive and making them functional. There's a fine line between not enough targets and way too many. Sometimes you'll go to a driving range, there's like 3 flags, and then other times there's like
50 flags out there.
Yep.
And so you got to make sure that you can kind of tell what you're doing. And what I'm really looking forward to is you're going to sod those target greens with a zoysia.
Correct.
That's a different color. So you'll have contrasting colors out there with where the target greens are.
Yeah, I think we're going to offer a lot of short shot variation options, you know, so that when people move from front to back, they'll have the ability to hit these shorter wedge shots into these targets as well. And I think that's a very important part of what we're trying to do on this practice range.
Yeah, with that west tee top basically doubling in size to the size it used to be, you know,
Correct.
before we had to put the parking lot in there. And then the back of that range got extended back, which caused us to need to move the 17th green over to the left and forward a little bit. But, you know, we were on mats half of this season because the driving range tee just wasn't big enough. So that's going to be a really nice upgrade for our members.
That all worked out very well, by the way. I mean, that shift and, you know, shifting the 17 green over a little bit and then shifting that tee on the east end back. That tee on the east end is actually larger than it was as well. And so I think when it's all said and done, that practice facility is going to be really, really
yeah. I'm
nice.
looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to the next video we do. I think we'll really highlight that with everybody and kind of maybe be out there and kind of show them the targets and show them the contrast of the zoysia grass out there.
Yep. I think that'd be a great way to start the next video.
Okay. Well, we kind of psyched everybody out, said we were going to go with the drone up, so let's go ahead and do that now.
All right.
All right, we're starting off here on hole number 1. As we said there in the intro, you can kind of see the putting green on the left side of the screen and see all the crew out there working, moving that earth on the driving range. I think probably the first thing that the members are going to notice is the addition of the 2 fairway bunkers quite a ways out there in the corner where those mounds were, and it really kind of frames the hole better. And like I said, they are quite a ways out there at the very end where those mounds used to be.
Yeah, and the other thing is like the tee complex is much different and cleaner, and just a much better look off the tees for sure.
Yeah, and one thing we did work on was as you're preparing to play and you're getting your ice water and hitting some practice putts, we created a lot wider area there for the golf carts to, it's kind of a traffic jam there all day, every day, so quite a bit better.
Yeah, always congested. Yeah, so I think now the traffic flow will be much better.
Yeah, so they're out there kind of getting everything final graded in and smoothed out and ready to get sprigged.
Yeah, those bunkers are pretty dramatic. Look at the shadowing on the back sides of them, man.
Yeah, the shadowing looks great, and I'm going to kind of come over here a little bit. And as you can see, the back walls of the bunker are very dramatic, but the front lip that's directing you straight to the center of the green is quite a bit lower. So very playable, but a very cool look.
Yeah, we try to make sure everything that's in the line of the play is low enough that, that it's not as difficult to get out of the bunker. But when you're looking at it from your shot into it, then you're going to see the strong faces on the back sides of the bunkers. They just show really well. So I think that is going to be a big signature piece of this golf course, Yeah,
so as we look at this green complex, got a little bit more room behind the green now because that cart path moved up and back. That was the idea of the wall there, was to support the earth there so we could move that cart path back and create a larger chipping area in case you go over the green.
Well, that and the fact that slope was so steep that it just was really not maintainable the way it was, so it always looked pretty rough, so now we can do some things back there that are going to be much more attractive as well. But it definitely gave us some space to create a larger surround area around the green, catchment area, I guess we might call it.
Okay. All right, let's jump over to number 2. All right, here we are on number 2, just coming in over the tee boxes. We had kind of talked about moving the cart path to the left, but it stayed to the right there.
Well, the sun comes up in the east, obviously, so we wanted to get the tees as far to the west as possible to get as much morning sunlight as possible.
You can see that the sun's on the tee boxes, not on the cart path right now, so that'll definitely help with the turf health there.
I'll tell you, one of the things that people are going to notice about Creekside are the tee boxes. They are we've learned our lesson. They're much larger, and I just think that we did a really good job of, building really nice tee boxes for the Creekside golf course. I mean, they're beautiful. I mean, they're all well thought out and big, so they're going to be able to handle large amounts of play.
Yeah, so there's a guy on the tractor. As you mentioned, these were just sprigged yesterday on Thursday, and you double sprig that, right, with the machine, and they'll come back and hand sprig them.
Correct. I mean, you could probably see them on the left side of the golf hole there. You're right, our left where we're standing, but you're right there where they're actually sprigging the slopes by hand over there.
Yeah, that's when we were doing the intro. You can actually see them coming now on the Rakovac, bringing sprigs from behind the green. So
correct.
As you look behind the green, you can see where it's a little bit darker color. That's where we just harvest our own sprigs to come out and hand sprig.
Yep, and we find that really, speeds up the process of growing it in. I mean, without that, probably wouldn't be likely that we would be able to open when we think we will. But doing this extra step, it's time consuming, but it's well worth the effort.
Yeah, so this green here, very familiar, kind of captured a little bit in the back left as you play the hole, and then the back bunker's been removed.
Yeah, this turned out really, this green is a lot larger, especially on the back right and left. It turned out well. I tell you, the other thing I think folks are going to notice is the bunkering. It's really, really dramatic, and there, like in the mornings, there are great shadows. You can see on that one there, you got a really great shadow on the face of that bunker. It's just very, very pretty.
Well, let's bounce over to number 3. All right, hole number 3, this is where we did the intro at. And so we're going to come up with a bird's eye view from what you saw before was from the ground. You're going to come over here. Tees very similar, but as we said, you can actually see how good the slope looks going to the lake there. They feel very elevated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, big tee boxes. We did cut that lake back, into the tees more, so now there's no wasted space. I'm not going to say this is my favorite hole, but when this hole is done, it is going to be spectacular. I mean, the bunkering is super dramatic.
By all the pictures you send, this is your favorite hole.
Yeah,
so far, you sent a lot of pictures of this hole.
It is. We put a lot of thought into this hole.
So it looks good. As we mentioned, the green sits in there just how it used to, and the bunkering in the back just looks really sharp. It's really big, bold faces in the back, but the front lip for when you're coming out, going into the green, very, very playable. Low lip, so you still have a fair chance to get out of the bunker and get it close to the hole on the green.
Yeah, we tightened up that waist area down the right side too, and it's going to be a lot sharper. And the other one was kind of makeshift. This one, was designed into the golf hole, so it'll look really nice when we're done. We jazzed up the sloping down the right side of the cart path as well, so that, it kind of tied into the contouring of the golf hole.
All right, let's go over number 16. Okay, here we are coming over the top of the tee boxes on hole number 16. We're just getting ready to solder around those, and then sprig those right after it's sodded around on the tee slopes there.
Yep. So people look at this and they're like, "Oh man, that's going to be like months," but really, they started putting in the irrigation down there at the tee end, and they've worked their way down. And you'll see as you move on down the hole, they're almost 2/3, 3/4 done with the hole. They'll be finished installing the irrigation tomorrow, and actually we'll start the final grading back here by the tees, which they've already started, and then the first part of the fairway like today. And so we'll work on getting all this cleaned up and final graded, sodding around the features, and we should be in position to grass this hole on Wednesday. So that's very encouraging. And as you move down the hole, you'll see where we talked about earlier, where we've already grassed the green and the green complex. So what's kind of cool about this hole is there's a new feature down the left side. We created this waste area And we just didn't want it to be just some wide open like desert kind of thing. So we tried to create something that had some character to it. It's got some really strong faces that tie into the fairway with some good contouring and movement. And we tried to create some little bumps and things in there to make it, you know, a little more attractive. I think it's going to look really sharp once it's all said and done, you know. And then the next thing is this bunker here on the inside left corner. Remember, we had a big, long, flat bunker, really not very attractive. This one is a smaller bunker, strategically placed, and I think it's going to really look good from the tee. And again, the bunkers on the right side, we beefed up the back of them a little bit, and they're a little stronger as well. And then as you move down the hole, you'll see the other fairway bunker, the fourth one, between mid-fairway and the green. And we really worked on getting that one much stronger on the backside, and it's going to view well. So this golf hole, when we got into it, I just didn't really feel like it was going to change a whole lot. But now I tell you, it's quite a bit different, and it looks really good. I mean, it's the same golf hole, but it's just got a lot more character, I think.
Yeah, as we approach the green here, you can see that front right bunker, pretty much the same position it's always been in. And then the green was brought back out to its original size, replicated the contours that had been that, because that green always had a lot of interest in it. So that's one that, you know, kind of talked to the architects. We said, hey, this is a really good green. The members really like it. And so they said, well, let's just put it back. So that's what we did.
Yeah, it turned out well. It looks good.
All right, let's jump over to number 17.
Yes, sir.
All right, 17th hole, obviously still moving some earth out here. Lake expansion there. This hole's kind of hard to drone from up very high. You know, maybe next time we'll come down, we'll bring the drone all the way down to the tee and go from there.
Right.
You can see the tee boxes on the left there. We worked hard because this hole, the green did come forward, and we wanted to save the length of the hole. So we spent a lot of time making sure that the carry was the right distance. Correct. From the different tee boxes. And standing here, you could almost throw it over it, but on this drone it looks like it's a really big carry, but it's not.
It's because we tied the water into the tee complex so much tighter than it was before.
Yeah, and the water's it's open water instead of kind of mucky, swampy water. So
yeah, exactly.
Kind of moved, the cart path came over to the left a little bit, coming off of those tee boxes.
Correct.
Coming through the trees. Actually, we're in the trees right now, getting some shade. So that's a nice change, kind of hide that cart path.
Yep,
and
you won't even see the cart path from the tees.
You know, at one point we thought we were going to have to clear out a lot of trees, and we ended up not having to do that. So that was really nice.
Just as a side note, EJ, something that folks won't really see, but hopefully they'll feel, is that every time we found an opportunity to create a maintenance path that would bypass a tee complex or a green complex, we tried to take advantage of that opportunity. 17 is a prime example of that, where we created our own little maintenance path through the palmettos to kind of circumvent, you know, having to drive through the tee complex when players are there on the tees. So we tried to do that everywhere we could.
Yeah, so as we start to approach the green here, that green, even though it moved forward and to the left, it's a very similar green to what it used to be. We tried to replicate the slope in there once again. Correct. Bringing it out to its original size. You know, the swell there to the right, bunker left, bunker back left. So I think that this green, while it's moved, I don't think people realize how far it's moved, because there was a lot of work that went into making sure all the mounding and the green sat in there the same, and it has the same feel. I mean, you'll know it's a little bit different, but you wouldn't believe how much it actually moved.
Well, one of the things that has taken us so long is the amount of excavation that we've done on Creekside, and 17 is a prime example. This was our primary area that we were able to harvest fill to fill and raise holes and to build the driving range. Without this fill, we wouldn't have been able to elevate the first part in the right side of this fairway on 17, and we definitely would not have had enough dirt to do what we needed to do on the driving range, because that required a lot of fill to extend that tee forward, and then to create the targets as well. So it took quite a bit, and that's why we had to excavate so much here so that we could build what was necessary. So that worked out pretty well for us, I believe.
All right, well, let's go over and jump up to number 18. Okay, we're going to bring it in here on 18 to wrap up the voiceovers on the drone coverage, Hal. So kind of tell the members, what we did here. Obviously, you can see the wall that's in front of the green there and kind of the reasoning behind that.
Yeah, well, that slope was really steep and hard to maintain, and it was hard for members to walk up and down, and and quite frankly, it wasn't safe for them to try to go in there, and retrieve balls. So, and we felt like a wall would be a cleaner look. So we did, and that wall took a while to build. I mean, it took a long time, but it turned out spectacular, and we dipped it there in front of the bunker. And people will notice that the bunkering is a lot better on this hole now. The bunker there on the front left is much more noticeable, and then the one in the back, we kind of tightened it up, and made it a little bit smaller and have a much stronger face on the back side of it. And we even created a couple plateaus for you to put your stands in for the classic shootout. So the other thing that's different about this hole is the green. We talked about it a little bit, and we said, this is our 18th hole. It's a par 3. We want to make sure that it's something special. So we made this green larger than it was. This green is 10,000 square feet now, and it's the largest green that we have on all 5 golf courses at this point. And the reason for that was to be able to create 4 distinct tiers, locations. So you've got 4 greens within one, and so you've got 4 targets. And of course, if you hit the green, that's great, but you may not be in the place that you need to be. And obviously there's a premium to hitting the target, So that was the goal there, to create a little more difficulty and a little more strategy for this golf hole.
Yeah, so it's really growing in there nice. Obviously you can see the green. It looks like it's just been top dressed, so you can't really see how well those sprigs are coming in. But that wall is very attractive. As you said, 4 distinct cuppable areas on the green. So this green will definitely help your greens and regulation stat. And if you're not in the right area, it might penalize your putting stats.
Yeah, it looks really cool from the tees. It's a beautiful golf hole from the tees. So I think people are going to enjoy it. It'll be a lot of bets won or lost on that hole.
All right, excellent. Sure. Everything's shaping up really nice. So as we talked about in the introduction, once we get done with this part, keep watching. We appreciate you watching this far. We're going to do some quick drone videos for you on holes 4 through 15. They'll go a lot quicker than we did the voiceover there for you. So
we didn't intend for it to be this long.
Well,
but there's a lot to cover.
There's a lot. It's important. It's great for the members to see it, and we obviously have a lot of passion for it. So, finish it up here on the driving range tee, and as you mentioned, we still got the part of the turf that we had before. You actually used it as a sprig farm all summer. So it's actually nice having this much acreage to be able to come and pull sprigs from.
That'll allow us to get this open when we open the golf course. We don't have to wait for the tee top to mature, So they're out there putting in the storm drainage right now, and irrigation, when they're done with 17, we'll be popping in the irrigation. Then we'll do the final grading, sodding, and grassing, and that should happen by not the end of next week, but the following week. So by the middle of October.
Okay, great. So we're in a good position for that middle of December opening. And Hal, appreciate your time today. I know you got to get out there and kind of keep an eye on these finishing touches. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact Hal or myself at any time.
Take care.